Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles video here on iStarly TV. This is my Road to Master series where I try to climb the online ranked Battle Stadium singles ladder. And we have a brand new season here. This is Regulation D, which is the new rule set where you can use all the Pokemon from Pokemon Home that were transferable, which includes a lot of legendary Pokemon, not the restricted ones of course, and also a lot of just other Pokemon like previous starters and Hisuian Pokemon, etc. There's a lot of new Pokemon to use, and this is my first team. I think I made a video a few days ago showing off the team, kind of my team building process. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the team in detail, so I'll post a link to that video if you want kind of the specifics of the team. But roughly, you know, we're using Choice Banded Arcanine, I don't know why I said it like that, with 4 moves. You know, it hits really hard, it's a pretty strong Pokemon. And then we have Calm Mind Enamrous, Iron Defense, Body Press, Corviknight, kind of a bulky Stealth Rock, Yawn, Clodsire, just it's there to take hits and kind of, you know, disrupt the opponent with some of its moves. And then the last two Pokemon are pretty standard for me. Iron Bundle, this is a set that I pretty much always use when I use Iron Bundle, which is Sub, Encore, Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump with leftovers, pretty good stuff. And then finally we have a Focus Sash Flutter main, which hits pretty hard, and we also have Perish Song on that. So I know I'm not showing off too many new Pokemon here. I do have 2 Pokemon there that are new to this format, so we'll see how they do. Now, the difference of this video is I actually have already recorded these battles, so I'm actually going to be commentating over the battles. I recorded them when I was playing because I was testing things out, and I actually figured out how to include the game audio, because that's something that I've seen some people mention in my videos, because if you'll notice, I don't usually have the game audio. I usually have just background music when I do these battles, and that's because I hadn't really, for some reason it wasn't really working, the game audio, when I was recording. So it works now. I figured out kind of a solution, and I'm still playing around with some of the settings on it, so the game audio might not be perfect in this video, but you know, if it's something you're interested, definitely let me know, and in the future I can definitely continue to have game audio during the battles, because I do think that helps and it adds to it. So anyways, that's kind of why I already recorded these battles, and yeah, I'm just going to be commentating over them. So let's get to the games. Here is game number 1, and looking at my opponent's team, I think, I don't remember exactly what I was thinking, but I do think I liked Iron Bundle here. It's actually really good. Iron Bundle actually is pretty good against their whole team, I think. So I think I bring it. I don't remember what exactly I'm kind of like thinking about, but I know for a fact I will be bringing Arcanine, because I remember this battle, at least I remember Arcanine participated in the battle, but it does look like I do bring Iron Bundle because once again it looks pretty good against their whole team, at least decent. And then I thought Enamrous also looked okay. I also of course wanted to show Enamrous off, and then I brought my Arcanine. So Enamrous is a Fairy and Flying type, which is a really good typing, and I do have Terra Steel, which I feel complements its weaknesses pretty well. So, you know, as a Fairy type, people are going to want to hit it with Ice type, or I'm sorry, not Ice, with Steel type moves, Poison type moves, and Steel is really good against those. Also Ice type moves because it's a Flying type, and Rock type moves. So basically all of its common weaknesses, Steel covers really well, I guess except for Electric, and Zapdos is in the meta now, so that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, yeah, I guess I expected them to lead with something like Great Tusk, because that is a common lead. Or if you see it on an opponent's team, you know, it's likely to be a lead of some sort because they get Stealth Rock and it's really bulky and stuff. But it's also just a strong all-around Pokemon. I did think that their own Iron Bundle would be brought because it's also pretty good against my team. You know, my two big threats, Arcanine and Enamrous, do struggle against Iron Bundle, so I wouldn't be surprised if they brought it. So they actually do lead with their Iron Bundle, and of course I led with mine as well. And let's see what we do here first. I just went for the Freeze Dry right away. I actually do remember what happens now. I went for the Freeze Dry, and my opponent just right away just kind of goes off with the Terra turn 1, which is good for me but also bad for me. Of course that's bad for me because it means that it's going to likely give them an advantage right here. And of course it is good for me because in the long run of the battle, it means that they've already utilized their Terra and I have not. So I kind of, you know, obviously Terra is a really good wild card when it comes to battles like this. and the ability for me to terastallize later on is gonna help. But anyways, I do go for freeze dry because they went Terra Ice. I do end up it ends up resisting it, so it takes very little damage. And because I'm a water type, I take super effective damage from their freeze dry. I do barely survive though. I think I have 4 EVs in special defense, which may have absolutely come in clutch right there. And then they just finished me off with another freeze dry. I was thinking to myself, like, if it's a speed tie, maybe I can get a hit on them, possibly knock them out, but at least get off more damage. But they outspeed me twice. I don't know whether that was a speed tie or not. I do remember some elements of this iron bundle from the later stages of the battle, but I'm still not sure whether it's like choice scarfed or not, or whether I just got unlucky twice in a row with that speed tie. So now I just go into Enamrous, which probably looks weird because obviously Enamrous is weak to ice, but you know, I figured they probably expected me to Terra, but I did also think Enamrous was the best bet because going into Arcanine also wouldn't make too much sense, because if they just hit me with a water type move, then I'm just done. So I could terastallize too with Arcanine. My Arcanine is a Terra normal type, which is a pretty good defensive typing. Normal is actually a really good defensive typing because it only has 1 weakness. And Arcanine has decent bulk. So here we're just kind of thinking things out. I guess I'm like, you know, talking, I don't know what I was gonna say. By the way, this Enamrous I got in Pokemon Home in the GTS, in the Pokemon Home app on my phone, which is why it's a different language. I do have another Enamrous that I myself caught in Legends Arceus, but I was gonna use that one for a different EV set, and this one I figured I could use for my Therian form, which is pretty bulky. Anyways, I do go Terra Steel, and it looks pretty cool. And my opponent makes, I'm guessing, a smart play, or I don't know if they expected me to go Terra Steel here, or if they just happened to switch into Chi-Yu, figuring I wouldn't really hit them that hard. I'm assuming they expected me to go for Mystical Fire. Maybe, I mean, if they know anything about Enamrous, they would know that it has Mystical Fire, but either way, they switch into Chi-Yu, which is like a worst case scenario for me, because I terastallize into a Steel type. So here I'm gonna have to go right into my Arcanine to take that, because I figured they'd go for a Fire move, and I do 4 times resist fire, and then I'm just gonna go for the head smash here. I am adamant, and Arcanine does not have amazing speed, so I'm definitely slower than Chi-Yu and absolutely slower than Iron Bundle. So I just figured this was still a safe bet for me. I figured if they went for a dark type move, it would hit pretty hard, but I probably would survive, because again, Arcanine has decent bulk, but with Chi-Yu's ability lowering my special defense, I was just all around worried. Like, this battle was not starting out well for me at all, because I lost my Iron Bundle, and their last 2 Pokemon are actually really good against my Pokemon. So luckily for me, they actually do switch out. I guess they are afraid of the Arcanine. They could possibly be choiced on their Chi-Yu, which means they're locked into Flamethrower, which means they absolutely would not want to stay in. And since I went for the head smash there, they switch into Fluttermane with booster energy. They are going to get absolutely destroyed here. So head smash, 150 base power, I think, or 120. I think it's 150. And with Rock Head, I do not take any recoil, and I'm choice banded, and it's stab. So that thing had no chance of surviving. Now they go into Iron Bundle here, and I know that if they hit me with a Hydro Pump, it's GG. And I was like, they just need to miss, because if they hit me with a Hydro Pump and knock me out, basically, I think I automatically lose, because my Enamrous, even if they don't knock me out, even if they don't knock my Enamrous out with Iron Bundle, they have a Fire type in the back, right? So I knew this was a very pivotal turn of the battle here. Arcanine looks amazing, by the way. I wish I had a shiny. Maybe I'll go back into Legends Arceus and shiny hunt one of them. So yeah, some downtime here. That's the downside of post-narrating. Maybe I'll edit out some of these long pauses like this, but I am going to try to fill them with some talking as well. And of course, they go for Hydro Pump, and they miss. Really unfortunate. Obviously, this is one of those situations where it feels bad for that to happen, because that is such a pivotal moment of the battle. Like, on the one hand, if they hit the Hydro Pump, I lose. If they miss the Hydro Pump, I have a pretty decent shot at winning this. So it's a huge turn for them, and of course they end up missing. Hydro Pump is like 80 base power, or I'm sorry, 80 base accuracy, which is not the most accurate move. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you're using Hydro Pump, you're kind of signing up for it missing. But anyways, they go into Chi-Yu, and I'm actually faster. So we actually sweep them with Arcanine in game number 1, which I think is awesome, because Arcanine is a Pokemon that not a lot of people were talking about going into this new season, and to be able to build a team around it and have it just do a lot of work in the first battle is pretty great. It feels pretty great. But of course, I do need to recognize the fact that battle did come down to hacks, and I do feel like I was really lucky there. I'm assuming their Chi-Yu was running a really interesting EV spread, because naturally Chi-Yu outspeeds Arcanine, and usually if you're running Chi-Yu, you're likely to run max special attack and max speed. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe, and not only that, but I'm adamant. So even if they were like max speed with a modest nature, I don't know what happened. But either way, I won that battle thanks to an Arcanine sweep, thanks to them missing the Hydro Pump, of course. And let's get to battle number 2 here. So looking at my opponent's team right away, once again, I recognize that Iron Bundle looks pretty good here. It's great against their flying types. It's decent against Heatran. It's faster than Flutter Mane, which is important. And it can resist Ice-type moves from Chien Pao and get off some good damage. It's just faster than their whole team. The one Pokemon I was really afraid of on their part was the Cresselia, because Cresselia is a monster. That's a Pokemon that I really am excited to use in the future. I used it a lot in Sword and Shield, and it was just so good. It's just super tanky. It can take hits from just about everything, and it can set up like Calm Minds, or it can go for like Lunar Dance to support its team. It's just a really good Pokemon, but here I was deciding what else to do, because again, I think Iron Bundle's really good against almost all of their team except for Cresselia. I chose Flutter Mane there because I do have the Perish Song, and I figured if we get to a situation where their Cresselia is their last Pokemon and they're setting up a bunch of Calm Minds, I can just go for Perish Song and just kind of ignore that, because otherwise, aside from that, I really don't have that many ways to deal with Cresselia. I mean, I guess... Sorry, my opponent's trader card, that's... Wow. Anyways, Arcanine could probably hit it pretty hard with like a head smash, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't want to rely on that as the only way to deal with Cresselia. So anyways, I also brought Enamrous in the back because I thought it matched up decently against a lot of their team, except for that Cresselia. Once again, Cresselia was the Pokemon I was absolutely the most afraid of in this battle. My opponent leads with Landorus, which, you know, I'm happy to see Landorus back, but I feel like I'm very quickly going to change my mind on that, because it's one of those Pokemon that you might see just so often, and it's really versatile, really strong, so it can get annoying very quickly. But anyways, they go Terra Water. I did substitute here just to scout what they were going to do, because I am naturally faster. I guess if they were Choice Scarf, that could be a little awkward, but I would probably live in Earthquake, I think. Either way, I sub here just to see what they're going to want to do, and it's really interesting that they went for Terra Water, which is a good Terra type on Landorus, to be clear. But water is also weak to Freeze Dry, or Freeze Dry hits water type super effectively. So if they know anything about Iron Bundle, they know that I'm going to be running Freeze Dry, and they know that it's still going to be super effective against them even if they Terra. But I go for the Encore here after they go for the Stealth Rock, which locks them into Stealth Rock, which means that basically at this point they have to switch, right? They can't, if they stay in, they're pretty much dead, right? So that is going to allow me to go for a free Freeze Dry after this. And again, I expected them to switch out, and that's why I love this Iron Bundle set so much, because Iron Bundle, once again, pretty much the fastest Pokemon in the meta. Dragapult is faster, but Dragapult is not very common at all. So Iron Bundle's faster than the most common things, and you can set up a substitute, kind of see what they're going to do, and if they go for a move like Stealth Rock or something, you can just Encore them to lock them in. They go into Heatran here, which is a great play. Of course, they 4 times resist that, and Heatran has great bulk, so that does absolutely nothing to them. And now, at this point, I don't remember, I think, yeah, I was going to say, I should be clicking Hydro Pump here because they've already used their Terra, so we can just go for Hydro Pump now. And this Iron Bundle, you know, in the last video we saw the Iron Bundle miss, which was an absolutely critical moment of that battle. My Iron Bundle has had really good luck with Hydro Pumps. In a lot of the videos where I've used this Iron Bundle, it hits the Hydro Pumps. It gets really lucky there, so I consider myself lucky for that. And I love this Iron Bundle. Of course, it's shiny, which is great. And so, yeah, they break my substitute. Honestly, I missed what move they went for there, but I don't think it matters. And I gotta hit this Hydro Pump here. I'm not super threatened by this Heatran, though. I'm not, like, super afraid of it. Even if I miss the Hydro Pump, I don't think they're gonna knock me out in one hit. Heatran's another just fantastic Pokemon in this meta, though, because, again, like I said, it's bulky. Oh, I do actually miss the Hydro Pump here for the first time, so... but it's bulky, and it hits really hard, and it can Terrastalize, so... it's one of those things where you have your Heatran in against something that can hit it super effectively, and then you can Terra to kind of change your type and take the hit really well. I think Terra Grass is going to be an amazing Terra type on Heatran, so the fact that my opponent could not Terrasilize their Heatran was great for me, because they already Terrasilize their Landorus. So here I pull a great play here. I go Terra Ground. One of the big reasons I'm running Terra Ground on this Iron Bundle is because I'm otherwise weak to Electric, and yeah, they go for the Volt Switch there, which it just completely stops them in their tracks because I'm now a Ground type out of nowhere. Here I was deciding whether to predict them to go right back into Heatran, but my opponent just concedes. So Iron Bundle basically soloed my opponent there. So in the previous battle, that traitor card, man. In the previous battle, my Arcanine soloed them, and then in this battle, Iron Bundle soloed them. But it doesn't feel as good because Iron Bundle is just such a great Pokemon that, like, you know, it's already proven itself to be really good. Whereas with Arcanine, you know, it was fun to try it out, and the fact that it did well was great. Anyways, that is battle number 2. Let's get to one more here and see if we can show off other members of this team. And battle number 3 here, my opponent has some cool Pokemon. They have Spectrier, which is a Pokemon that I personally like a lot. I definitely want to try it out because I've always liked it just because it's so strong. However, the one thing that I'm a little, I guess you could say, afraid of is the fact that I just feel like Fluttermane's probably just better. But anyway, as a ghost type, they have Gallade, which is interesting, and they have Toadscruel, 2 Pokemon that have already been in Scarlet and Violet that have existed for a long time. But have never really seen too much play, and they have Thundurus T as well, which is a strong Pokemon, as we saw. I guess we didn't see last battle how good it was because I went Terra Ground there, but anyway, once again, I'm hovering over Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is just an amazing Pokemon, and then I choose Fluttermane here because I felt like it could help me against the Spectrier, and also one big Pokemon that I was keeping my eye on was that Dondozo, because Dondozo's really good against physical attackers and not usually as great against special attackers. So having strong special attackers like Bundle, Fluttermane, and Enamrous I think was a pretty good choice on my part. And I ended up bringing the Enamrous just because it's tanky and it seemed like it matched up decently against my opponent's team. My opponent leads with Spectrier here, which is really interesting. You know, Spectrier, once again, is a Pokemon. It has a really high special attack stat, and it's pretty fast, although not as fast as Bundle or Fluttermane. So I just went for the Freeze Dry here, knowing that I'd be faster, just to kind of scout what they do here. And it does decent damage. And then they actually reveal Mud Shot, which is actually pretty threatening because it does a good chunk of damage, and it lowers my speed, which means that they are now faster than me. And I was worried here because obviously the Mud Shot would not knock me out again. However, I figured that they would go for like a Shadow Ball or something here, which probably would knock me out. So I was deciding whether to stay in and let my Iron Bundle faint or switch out into something better at this point because, again, I figured the Shadow Ball would knock me out. They actually Terrastalize though, which is also pretty scary because, again, Terra is just a great mechanic here where, you know, if you're on the back foot, you can just Terrastalize, change your type, and then all of a sudden, you know, the move your opponent went for is just completely obsolete, as we saw in the previous battle. And they actually reveal Terra Fairy with Draining Kiss, which is not something I expected here. And because of the basically stab on Draining Kiss, that is going to do enough damage to knock me out, and it's going to bring them right back to full health. And while Spectrier is not a very bulky Pokemon, it's going to be hard to knock it out because I don't have anything super effective for it. Not only that, but I forgot to mention Spectrier's ability called Grim Neigh is basically like a beast boost for special attack. So when it knocks out a Pokemon, it gets a special attack boost. So right off the bat, this is a Pokemon that I was not prepared for, and it is actually just a huge threat to my team right away. So now I got to get a little bit creative with how I'm going to deal with it, and I'm deciding, you know, which of my 2 Pokemon to go into. Fluttermane, the big thing I was thinking of here is that my Fluttermane has Focus Sash, so I'm guaranteed to live a hit from Spectrier, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted to have that Sash broken this early in the fight or not. And then with Enamrous, it's kind of the same thing because I don't know who my opponent's last 2 Pokemon are, I can't really plan for, you know, do I want to kind of save Fluttermane till the end because I know it can help me against the last Pokemon, or do I want to save Enamrous till the end for the same reason? Because I don't know their Pokemon, I just have to make a blind decision here. And again, each of my Pokemon has an okay shot at dealing with Spectrier, but also has potential to faint to it because it already got the special attack boost. So I ended up going into Enamrous, and then I went for Terra here, figuring they would go Draining Kiss, or I guess hoping they would go Draining Kiss, because if they did go for Shadow Ball, it would do the same amount of damage to me whether I'm a Fairy type or a Steel type, so it would kind of be a wasted Terra on my part. But I also figured I probably wouldn't be going for Terra on Fluttermane, although on second thought, now that I think about it, if I went Terra Fire on Fluttermane, I would actually resist Draining Kiss. But again, even though they haven't shown me Shadow Ball, I just knew that they would, if I go into Fluttermane, they're just going to go Shadow Ball. So I figured there's no reason to Terra Fluttermane anyway. So either way, something that I didn't really forget about, but I figured was going to happen at some point, is that they go for the Mud Shot, which is now super effective. And I'm going to go ahead and get off a Mystical Fire. So yeah, so the Terra on my part was not an amazing choice. I probably at the end of the day should have just not Terrastalized here, to be quite honest, because again, they still have not revealed Shadow Ball, but I still feel like I would be better off if they were just firing off Shadow Balls against me. But basically I wanted to guarantee that I would live a hit by going for Terra and then going for Mystical Fire to lower their special attack. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at here. And here they go for Draining Kiss. I have no idea why. I don't know if that was a misclick or something, but that is good for me because it's gonna allow me to get off another Mystical Fire. Although to be quite honest, at this point in the battle, me lowering their special attack doesn't matter. I just need to knock them out. Like, if they're gonna hit my Fluttermane, it's gonna break my Focus Sash anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter how much damage they're doing, if that makes any sense. So yeah, they go for Mud Shot here, and because I dropped their special attack twice, and because Enamrous is so bulky, I do actually survive that. And there, I guess it's revealed that I probably should have just gone for Springtide Storm. However, Springtide Storm is 80% accurate, which means that it has a decent chance of missing. And we saw with Hydro Pump in this battle and the previous battle, you know, that 80% accuracy sometimes might as well be 50. So they finally knock me out. They actually reveal Hex, which is really weird. So I don't know what their last move is. Maybe it's Will-O-Wisp, because I don't know why you'd run Hex over Shadow Ball otherwise. They do get the special attack boost, but at this point it does not matter because Fluttermane is naturally faster than Spectrier, which is a big reason why I haven't really tried Spectrier yet, because again, I kind of feel like Fluttermane at the end of the day is probably superior, even though Spectrier has a better special attack stat and has a better ability. You know, Fluttermane being faster is a pretty big deal in this meta, especially with Pokemon like Chien-Pao running around. Anyway, I do finally knock them out. This Pokemon just completely destroyed my team, and now I have to hope that Fluttermane can solo my opponent, just like my Arcanine soloed them in the first game and my Iron Bundle soloed in the second game. So can this be a triple solo battle? And they go into Dragonite, which is pretty sad. However, because they already Terrastalized, I know I can just go for Moonblast and it'll hit super effectively. Of course, it's going to be a 2-hit KO because of multi-scale. They do take me all the way down to my sash with that Earthquake. The good thing here is that I know they cannot use Extreme Speed because I'm a Ghost type, so they basically are forced to use a move that's going to be slower than me, which means at this point I'm guaranteed to knock them out with that Moonblast. So the dream of soloing with Fluttermane is live still. I have 1 HP left and my opponent has one final Pokemon, and it's Thundurus. And I figured I was not going to be winning this battle because, you know, Thundurus, it's not super bulky, but I figured it could live a Moonblast, and it does. And now I just need some miracle for them to like misclick or something, which of course it's not going to happen, right? So they end up just going for the Thunderbolt, and that's going to finish me off. So we had a very good chance of soloing there, but that Spectrier I just was not expecting. I think the biggest thing was the Mud Shot. Like in turn 1 with my Iron Bundle, you know, I clicked Freeze Dry just because I wanted to get off some damage, maybe possibly freeze them, but really I was just not thinking about the fact that they would be faster than me on the following turns, and they would kind of pose a real big threat to my team. And then going Terra Fairy was actually pretty good on their part because it gives them a really good defensive typing where basically I had no super effective moves for it at that point. So good plays by my opponent. That was a really good battle, really fun battle here. I'll post a picture of the team once again here, and there's the team code if you want to try it out yourself. And yeah, I think this team's pretty good. It's pretty well-rounded. It has a lot of good Pokemon from last season, such as Iron Bundle and Fluttermane, unsurprisingly. And the two new Pokemon I think are also really good. Enamrous admittedly didn't look amazing in this battle, but I still think it's a Pokemon that has a lot of potential and it's going to be really strong here. And then, like I said, everything else on the team's good. Arcanine's amazing. Yeah, so let me know if you tried this team out. Let me know what you thought about the video. And if you have any suggestions for Pokemon that you want to see me use in future videos, let me know in the comments. And also please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium Singles videos. I'm already brainstorming my next team that I want to show off. I really like this team though, so if you want to see another video with this team, definitely let me know. Because yeah, I would love to keep trying it. Otherwise, I have a lot of other Pokemon that I want to try out, so we're going to go for that. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.